The whole reason I brought it up, because everyone's talking trash, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you, and I was just excited to draft. So I just hopped into the chat and I said, it's going down. We're gathering timber. That's it. And then I drafted a team, and I never said another word the rest of the day. But anyway, we missed you. It would have been more fun if you were in there.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah.
No, Lucas and I, the great producer of Damon and Rado, we were going back and forth about league formatics, and I offered up some suggestions, which I think he took some. He didn't take other ones, and ultimately I said, I got to pass.
Okay.
I got to pass.
Wow, there was like a negotiation.
There was.
Okay.
It was a negotiation sensation.
There it is.
That's what it was, yeah.
There it is. Well, now there's $1 into the Kyle play next year bucket.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to gather.
I hope you didn't act on those suggestions for a guy that didn't go into the league.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
No, I'm an advisor, Spadoni, as a guy who's been doing fantasy football since you were a zygote. I know a thing or two about how to run a league.
It's debatable. But anyway, so what about this? Because Matt Barrows sort of he threw it out there a little bit. This has been bouncing around in my mind, and I know where most of our minds go. Hey, this is big business,
big boy time.
Put
your big boy pants on.
No cream puffs, okay?
I know where you're going, and just
come on, man.
Come on, bro.
Okay,
don't be this soft.
You love the Warriors, right? You love their front office?
I do.
They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do this. They would not.
The structure is different.
They wouldn't do this.
If the structure was the way it is, absolutely they'd do this.
It's
business.
All I know.
EPMD, strictly business.
You know what? And a big part of business is how you treat your employees. And it's so funny to me.
Oh, poor Jimmy.
Oh, it's so funny to me. All the people who, this is business. There's no room for humanity. If they did that at your office, you'd have a picket sign on the corner. We all do this. Oh, it's big business. You never say that about your office. Our parent company's big business. How many people could you find walking around these hallways? Yeah. Oh, we're supposed to think of people now? So it's a very fair question. If we've all reached the spot where you don't think the 49ers can get anything for Jimmy, if you don't think that, and if you're right, then what are they doing? Why are they still holding on to him? Is it just to keep him from Seattle? And if you're so terrified of Jimmy Garoppolo, then you probably shouldn't be moving on from him if you're that scared of him. So if we're to believe that for 5 years, this relationship was kumbaya freaking ah, I mean, we just loved each other, and Jimmy handled a tough situation so well. If that's really the case, shouldn't you, Adel Dazeem, let him go?
They will. They will when the time is right.
When's the time right?
When it's August 30th.
When he can't play for anyone anymore?
Screw Jimmy Garoppolo.
There you go.
Screw Jimmy.
And there you go.
It's business, Mark. We don't need to hold a guy's hand. Do you realize how much they paid him? $110 million.
It's the going rate.
Right, and it's the going rate, and they paid him the going rate, and now you don't have to pay him anymore because you don't want him to be your quarterback anymore.
You get paid the going rate?
No. I get paid far less than the going rate. Are you kidding me? I'm the most underpaid guy in this building.
Okay, so point being, anybody in any business, if you get paid the going rate, so does that mean it's okay for your business to put the clamps on you when they don't even want you anymore?
They're not putting the clamps on him.
They're not?
He's under contract. They're choosing to move past him.
And they're not even allowing him to practice with the team.
Because they don't want him to get hurt.
Okay.
The last thing they want is for Jimmy to get hurt again. Listen, and by the way, he gets hurt virtually every single time he does anything.
Not true, but okay.
But they don't owe Jimmy a damn thing. They could be playing this a lot worse. They could be stringing him along. Oh, Jimmy, it's a competition between Jimmy and Trey. And well, Jimmy, we don't want you to practice. They could be totally playing this a lot harder than they are. They've been very transparent with him. Jimmy, Trey's our quarterback of the future. We're moving on from you. We're trying to trade you, but until we have a place to trade you, they're not just going to cut him.
Yeah,
if they cut him and he goes to Seattle on August 22nd, that's a bigger advantage than if he goes there on August 31st. Would you agree to that?
Not really. No. I mean, my gosh.
So him being in Seattle 9 days early doesn't help them?
He's going to go to Seattle with a bad roster and learn an entirely new offense so that he can now beat a apparently Super Bowl window football team in week 2? Come on.
Does it help them more now than it does 9 days
Let
from
me
now?
spotlight something you just said.
Does it?
They don't owe Jimmy anything.
They don't owe him a damn thing.
Okay, what if he had said that when they drafted his replacement last year? I mean, come on. What do you mean we don't owe him a damn thing?
He was under contract.
You owe good employees good behavior.
And they're behaving just fine. What are they doing to deflate his value going forward? They're not doing
holding him from learning another offense or getting another job.
So
holding him from getting another job.
All right, so you work at Google, and you know you're not going to work at Google anymore. So here, go to Facebook and do me a favor. Take all of our intellectual property with you and rush on over to Facebook.
You would totally feel that way if you worked at Google and they looked at you and said, "We're not using you anymore." Oh, but by the way, we're also not going to let you go anywhere else.
Right. Well, that's not
a fair.
That's the way it is in our business.
There's not a not always.
You have a non-compete, and so do I. For example,
by the way,
we're under contract
to come to the Bay Area when an opportunity was presented to me. I had 2 years left on a contract, and I sat down with a very, very fair boss of mine who is a very good friend to this day, and I looked him in the eye. Yeah, right. And I looked him in the eye and I said, "My man, you have been a phenomenal boss, and you can play hardball right now if you want, but the opportunity of a lifetime has been presented to me. It's an opportunity."
A different market.
Yes. And I would
it's akin to going from the NFL to the World League in a completely different.
No.
If you were going to go from this
station to going from San Francisco to Seattle.
If you were going from this station to another station in this market, if there were such a station that could be our equal, there's no way our bosses would say, "Oh yeah, go ahead, run across the street."
That's different. I mean,
no, it's exactly the same.
No, it's not.
He's going in the division theoretically.
You don't want him anymore.
Right.
So he's going to beat you with a crappy roster. Bill Belichick, who supposedly has no soul, according to all of us.
He's a good businessman.
Took care of this guy by not sending him to Cleveland. They didn't send him to Cleveland. Cleveland offered more than the 49ers, but he looked at Jimmy and said, I don't want to send you down that river. I'm going to give you to Kyle because Kyle's going to know what to do with you.
But the 49ers were god-awful at that point. And it was not in the same conference, and it was not in the same division.
You thought Bill Belichick was worried about the Browns? When has Bill Belichick ever been worried about the Browns?
He's not worried about the Browns. Okay. The Browns are an AFC team.
All I'm saying is you take care of your people.
They've taken care of him. They paid him $110 million.